Right, you ready?
I'm ready if you are.
We're going.
Yeah, we're ready. We're here. Are we live?
I think we are, yeah.
Oh, we're live.
Hello, everybody. I think we're live on YouTube. Do you reckon we are?
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
And if you don't know who we are, this young man here is called Henry Firth. I am called Ian Theasby, and we are BOSH. This is BOSH TV, and we're going to be cooking something beautiful today.
So we're going to be making you our crispy chili tofu. It's a classic from this book. We're going to be cooking it in a kind of speedy way. Maybe some of you will be cooking along with us. We've got producer Kathy in our ears so we can hear your questions. We'll do some questions and answers. And it's going to be fun, right?
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be so much fun. We have been looking forward to it all day. Actually, we haven't just been looking forward to it. We've been busy beavering away, sorting out this.
We have.
The new domain. Nice? Yeah. Cameras are better, lighting's better, set is better. Check out this. I mean, look at that.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got it sorted out nicely.
We got that, ready for the food, and this is ready for me to sit in
Henry Cam.
in my producer position.
There we are, look at that, perfect. Okay, good. Well, I think that now we are familiar with one another and we know what we're doing. We're gonna crack straight on and we're gonna make some wonderful crispy chili tofu, which incidentally is the first of this week's series, which is fakeaways, right? What's a fakeaway, Henry?
Well, a fakeaway. We've lost the camera. 1 second.
Sorry, guys.
There we go.
There we are.
A fakeaway is it's like a fake takeaway, obviously. And in this time when everybody's at home and we're all kind of like, I don't know, just on lockdown, it makes a lot of sense to be cooking your own food rather than relying on one of those delivery drivers.
Exactly. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is something that some of you may have seen before and some of you may not have seen before, and it is one of these. Right, should we go top cam or should we go here?
Oh, there we go.
This.
Yeah, there's your top cam.
Okay, so this, ladies and gentlemen, is a Tofu Press. They're a very, very nifty piece of kit. They're not very expensive, and they pay dividends for if you eat a lot of tofu. Right. So I'm going to show you exactly what's up here. So we're going to open up this tofu press because in here is a lump of firm tofu that we have been kind of pressing for a little while. Check this out. I'm going to take it out of here. Boom. And that is a really beautifully firm piece of tofu. Now, like I said before, it's very, very, very important that you use firm tofu over silken tofu, because if you use silken tofu, it would have turned into like a sweaty mess. Look at that.
Lovely.
How cool is this?
Do you want to show us how the tofu press works? I mean, do you need a tofu press or could we use something else?
Now, you don't necessarily need a tofu press. You could just use lots of books. So what you'd do is you take your lump of firm tofu, you'd wrap it in kitchen roll, you'd put a few books on top of it, and you'd let it kind of just sweat down and eke out all of that moisture.
Yeah. But it would be really interesting to see how this thing works.
Sure thing. Right, so we have the base here, which is kind of,
you're on the board. We want to see the board.
My bad.
Yeah,
so this is the base of the tofu press, and that is where all the water goes into. This here now is like the kind of, the innard bit, and as you can see, it's got holes on the inside, and you put the tofu in here, and then what you do is you take the top of this, and you pop it on. Right, and then basically, because obviously this isn't very, this here isn't very kind of like heavy, you have to stretch these things down here, and it sort of squeezes it down. It's a very, very interesting, very, very cool little device. Amazing. And if you haven't got one of these, please go and buy one because they're really cool. Anyway, enough of that tofu press. Let's crack onto the tofu.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes.
You know what? You can skip this step if you have like an extra firm tofu. It is always better to just give it the time to have a bit of a press, but if you have got extra firm, you can skip it.
Now this recipe is based on a Chinese classic. It's the crispy chili beef, but obviously we don't eat beef any longer, so we're going to be showing you exactly how to do it vegan version. And this one, like, went super viral, didn't it?
Oh man, yeah. So this is crispy chili tofu. It's had, I mean, millions of views on our social media channels. But the other thing about this recipe is it's also one of the most viewed and most photographed. So not only is it people have viewed it, but they've actually cooked it and sent us pictures. We literally went through our Instagram and our Facebook feeds and tallied up all of the photos people had sent us to see which recipe we got sent the most, and it was this one.
this is a very good recipe. Now let's check out, let's go to the top cam and let's show you the chopping. So what we've got here is the lump of tofu, and I'm just chopping it into like 1 centimeter lines, okay? Because the idea is that we're gonna turn this into batons, and these need to be nice and thin, but not like ridiculously thin. They need to be like roughly 1 centimeter. So now we've got that, we're gonna take 2 of them and pull them to one side and put it on top of each other. And now sometimes, sometimes you'll find that these tofus are like really wide, but they're not. This one is actually not that wide. So what we'll do is just like chop it clean in half, and I'm going to do that right now, so you guys can see. So it's straight down, boom, and we've got the tofu batons are forming beautifully here.
So we're kind of looking for a like a French fry situation. It's kind of 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square, and then just the length of the tofu.
That is exactly right. And it's okay. So basically, we've got all of our. These are basically tofu chips, and here they all are. We've got all of them ready, and they're done. So I'm going to push them to one side, and then bring this bad boy into play. Now this is corn flour. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put like 2 or 3 of them in the corn flour at once, and do it with one hand and just kind of mix it around and just make sure it's really beautifully covered, because that corn flour is going to make this crispy coating that we need to make this crispy chili tofu. There's 2.
So we just had a message from producer Kathy. She's in our ears. Apparently Beth says hello.
Beth.
Hey Beth, how you doing?
Hey Beth, thank you for tuning in, and not only Beth, thank you for tuning in, thank you to everybody who's tuned in.
Bev.
Oh, Bev.
Okay.
Bev.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit like, who's Beth?
Yeah.
I know one Beth.
Yeah, Beth Armstrong.
Anna's girlfriend,
yeah.
But I don't, that's the only Beth I know. But Bev, how you doing? Bev's our manager. Bev's an absolute hero. Hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Easter weekend.
And everybody else, that is definitely worth saying. We hope that you've all had a wonderful time over this weird Easter. Like quarantine Easter has been quite a strange one, hasn't it?
It has. It's been a strange one. We've got some sun. It was my birthday on Friday, which was lovely.
Yeah. And
we had a little barbecue on the roof, but we've all been socially isolating and just staying good and being good and staying safe. Hope you have too.
Yes.
So it would be good to just check. Cornstarch, we just had a question. Cornstarch is the same thing as corn flour.
That's right.
So whichever one of those it says on your packet, you're going to be fine. And Ian, tell us what the cornstarch is doing.
So the cornstarch is a really odd consistency, but what we're doing is we're coating our tofu chips with the cornstarch or corn flour, and that is essentially, it's going to form a really crispy crust, because once we fry this off, which we are about to do in a second, you're going to be left with something that is super crunchy, super crispy, and works beautifully with a fantastic sauce, which we're also going to show you how to make. There we go, look at this. So what I'm doing here is kind of just covering over the tofu, just like making sure that it's really, really well covered. You could easily sieve it over, but this is easily the best way to do it. So there we go.
One tip which producer Kathy has been reading in my ears, a few of you are asking about substitutions. So you could try this with alternatives. So if you had some rice flour, or if you had some, to be honest, you could do this with regular flour. You could just play around with whatever you've got. It probably regular flour isn't going to be the best. Rice flour would work. Also, you could play with combinations, but cornstarch really works really well because you get such a crispness from cornstarch. The only downside to using cornstarch is that it's not going to colour in any way. So you're going to be left with something which is still very white, but don't worry about that, because we're going to hit it with such a beautiful, sticky, sweet umami sauce. You're not going to be thinking about the colour of the fry. Trust me, you're going to be loving it.
But before we crack on with our lovely sauce, we have to make that fantastic tofu really, really crispy, and that's what we're going to do now. So here, I've got some sunflower oil. You can use vegetable oil, you can use sunflower oil, or you can use light olive oil. And the idea here is that you want to sort of like, this is a shallow fry, so we're going to need about that much, like a sort of maybe just shy of 1 centimeter's worth of oil in there. And we're going to bring that up to a a decent heat. And the decent heat that we're going to be after is 180 degrees, because that's the kind of optimum frying temperature. And a really good way to measure that temperature is with a thermometer, which we are going to use. We're going to show you an easier way that everybody will be able to use. We're going to dip in the tip of this wooden spoon into this oil, and if it bubbles, it's ready. So let's see if it's ready.
Not ready yet.
Not ready yet, unfortunately. We'll give it, I'm just going to turn up the heat a little bit.
Crank it high, mate.
So
Get it right the way up.
It's cranking high.
This would be a perfect opportunity for a couple of questions, by the way. So we are doing these cook-alongs. This is BOSH Live. Welcome. I'm Henry. That's Ian.
Hiya.
We're going to be doing these cook-alongs every day this week at 6 p.m. If you want to cook with us, you can go and check at bosh.tv. That's our website. That's where you'll find the ingredients. We are going to be doing quick Q&As. We've got producer Kathy in our ear. Say hey, Kathy. No, you can't. Ian, pretend to be Kathy.
Hello.
No, she said hello. So we are going to be getting your questions. If you've got any questions, pop them in there. We'll answer them at the time if they seem relevant, or we'll try and get to them at the end of the show if not. So we've got a minute while we wait for the oil to heat, right?
The oil is ready.
Oh, the oil is ready?
The oil is ready.
Okay.
Right, and so the oil is ready. I'm very, very pleased with that. We've
Show us the
cranked
bubble
it right
again.
up.
Let's just see the bubble.
So you can just see there's some very, very small incidental bubbles that are just kind of happening there, and that's what we're after. So here we're going to do this. So I'm going to do like about 5 or 6 pieces of tofu. Here we go.
Of course, you could use something like tempeh for this.
Yep.
You could also use cornstarch in this way to coat vegetables. You end up with a kind of tempura.
Yeah, the tempura.
Although you might actually want more of a batter for that. But play around, man. This is quarantine, right?
It is.
Don't
I
you
mean,
think?
yeah, exactly. You could just do that. Another thing that you could do, if you wanted to flavour the cornstarch, you could definitely do that as well. Just throw in like maybe some Chinese 5 spice, or some cinnamon, or even some Thai 7 spice. All of that would work beautifully. So let's check out this on the side cam now. Look at that. Right, so all of these chips are kind of frying nicely together, and the idea is that we're going to get them to a point where they're just a little bit golden, but not too golden. And you'll be able to sort of tell when it's ready, when they're kind of like firm to the touch, and they kind of have a firm tap.
This is mesmerising.
Isn't it mesmerising stuff?
It's like
the frying of the tofu.
It's like watching art happen. I love this.
And also this is a very, very, very nice implement that we've got here.
Okay.
Like just some pincers are the perfect thing to twist this tofu. If you don't have something like this, then you could use chopsticks, or you could easily use just a fork. But one thing you definitely need to be, because this is hot oil, is very careful. Okay.
And I guess also you kind of want to be careful with this tofu because it is easy to break it.
Yes.
So just take your time, make sure it's firmly pressed, and as Ian says, use the right tools.
And also, don't burn yourself, because this oil, like I say, is 180 degrees. If it splashes up, it's going to scald you, which is not good. But we don't really fry things all that often, but when we do, we make sure it's very necessary. And for this recipe, it is very necessary, and trust me, it is unbelievable. Now, like what we've got here is a very crispy piece of tofu, and that is ready.
Amazing.
Yeah? So one thing that you want to do now, guys, is you want to do the rest of yours and then put them on a plate like this.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So what are you using here? Kitchen paper?
Yeah, we've got some kitchen roll, and we're just going to put it on here, and it's going to soak up all that residual oil that you don't want. It's going to cool it down nicely, and then that can just sit to one side, and you don't actually need to worry if they're hot or whatever, because what we're going to do now is we're going to make some wonderful sauce that will remain hot and it will reheat these. So I'm going to put this to one side because we've got some of those that we made earlier on.
So smooth, so smooth. Honestly, this is such a good recipe. I'm very, very excited. Welcome if you have just tuned in. This is BOSH TV, this is BOSH Live, and we make plant-based recipes. We make them all the time. We pretty much cook in our house every day anyway, so we figured let's go live and share ourselves cooking recipes with all of you lot. If you have got questions, pop them in there. We'll be answering them later on. But right now we're cooking crispy chili tofu, one of our most popular recipes. It's had millions of views. Ian, what's next?
Sauce is next, and this is a lemon. It's a big boy lemon. Now the recipe in the book says 2 lemons, but I know that there's gonna be enough juice in here. So what we're gonna do is give this a good old chop. Right down the middle. Boom. We get that chopped up, and then what we're gonna do is squeeze the juice from the lemon through our fingers so no pips get inside the pan. So all that juice is going in there. Look at that, there's loads of juice. And this is going to give a really nice lemony flavour. It's going to give wonderful sharp citrus vibes. And that's 1/2 done. And now vibes.
Citrus vibes.
Citrus vibes.
That's all anyone wants, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all anybody ever wants is citrus vibes. Anyway, so we've got that there. That is, like I say, it's one really juicy lemon. It's all in there now. And now I'm going to turn the oven back on.
You mean frying pan, of course.
The frying pan, yeah. So, or like, what is it? It's a hob. It's a hob. Right, and now, this is orange juice. There's 250 mils of orange juice in here, and that's going into the pan, which is going to add sweetness. It's also going to add another different citrusy vibe.
One thing to say about this sauce, which Ian's about to rattle through, is it is so simple. We're going to combine about 7 or 8 ingredients to create the most incredible Asian style sauce. You're going to love it.
Now, here we go. This is sweet chili sauce. Thai sweet chili sauce. There is 100 grams of that going in there. And the next thing that we're going to drop in is a little bit of soy sauce. The reason being is because soy sauce is salty, and we're going to need a little bit of saltiness in here. And last but not least, sriracha.
Hello,
there is the sriracha.
Can you say heat?
Oh yeah, baby, this is good.
Now, if you're looking for substitutions, we would recommend you play around with this a little bit. Instead of sriracha, you could play with pretty much any chili sauce you've got. Instead of the orange juice, you could play around with whatever juices you might have. You could even juice your own if you've got some stuff lying around. You can freestyle a little bit. We totally encourage it.
Yeah, and now check this out. So you want to bring it to a very high heat, because the idea here is this is very liquidy, and we don't want it to be liquidy. We want it to be syrupy, and there is a distinct difference between the two of those liquids. So what we need to try and do is just cook this down, let all of those different elements of the sauce come together. We want them all to sort of combine and like become one wonderful sauce. And this is exactly as you'd expect to find in a Chinese restaurant. We have, like Henry said at the beginning of this live stream, we've had some wonderful comments from so many people who have said this is their favourite dish.
Absolutely. It's so popular and it's so easy. We really, really recommend you try this one.
Yeah, there we go. And we're just going to simmer this down. So this will probably take about 4, 5, maybe even 6 minutes, depending on how hot you've got your pan. So if you've got any questions, do ask Kat, and she will tell Henry, and then we will answer them.
So we're on about 19 minutes.
Yep.
You know, we're aiming for about half an hour. That's the plan. Yep. But if it takes a little longer, that's okay. Ian, I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
What is your favourite thing to go with this? Like an Asian dish from our BOSH repertoire.
Okay.
That would go along with this.
Well, I would have to say, definitely, in that book that we have there, BOSH, we have special fried rice. Special fried rice is the perfect thing to go with crispy chili tofu, because rice and tofu just work beautifully together.
I just noticed you blowing. You want the steam blow back.
Yeah,
check out what happens. You see this steam? This is now going into the camera, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So we've forgotten to put a fan.
We forgot to put a fan up. Okay, I'll get the fan.
Yeah. No, we don't need to.
You don't think we need
Right, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why we don't need it, guys. Because we you know, like Henry says, we've got 20 minutes in, we've got 10 minutes to go, and we've already made some of this, so I'm going to put this to one side and bring another one in.
So here's one we made earlier. That's what you're saying. Do let us know any questions. We are about 20 minutes in. We will answer some questions about 5-8 minutes or so. So drop them down below and producer Kathy will tell us them.
Now obviously you guys don't have the benefit of having made one earlier, but what you do have the benefit is having time on your side. So like I say, what you were making just then, make sure you kind of let it simmer, right? And let it thicken, and make sure it becomes really syrupy, just like this. Now that's kind of the test. You see what I mean?
If it sticks on the spoon.
That's like if you look down here, it's like it's thick enough to sort of stay. Like
do that again for the top cam. Okay, yeah. So it kind of holds its own.
That's right. It holds its own. Kind of parts like the sea.
Like the Red Sea.
That's
like
right.
Moses in the Red Sea. I love that.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to make your crispy chili tofu. It's ridiculously easy. Watch this.
I'm very excited about this recipe. It is one of my absolute favourites. And what are we pairing with? We've got some brown rice for this one.
We've got some brown rice.
We're going to use pre-cooked brown rice. You could, of course, use noodles if you prefer. But for us, rice just, it's just easier to eat than noodles. Noodles is a bit of a fat.
Exactly. Now, like in true Blue Peter style, we did this earlier, and these, some of them are big, thick ones, some of them are thinner, but all of them, or not all of them, like, you know, like most of them are going into this sauce. This is the thing. 1, 2, 3, and it's super easy now, right? Because what we're going to do is just pop that in there like that, and then once they're all in, or most of them are in, really easy, just roll it around. You see what I'm saying?
I love this.
How good is that? And do you know why this works?
So simple.
The reason why this works is because, like, the tofu is super crispy.
Yeah.
The tofu is super, super crispy, and it's holding its own. And now what we're going to do is, like, the heat of the sauce is just going to work amazingly with that tofu, and that is almost ready. Look at that.
I mean, let's be honest. That looks incredible.
Doesn't it? It's so good. It smells amazing. You can see why this is one of our most popular recipes today.
I mean, in terms of the smell, like I can smell the kind of the fire of that sweet chili sauce, but I'm also getting the sweetness as well.
Oh God!
I'm getting that kind of orangey flavour as well.
Lots of citrus.
Fire of that sriracha.
And lots and lots and lots of spice. It's crispy chili tofu. It's a delight. You're gonna love it. Right, give me 2 seconds, because now what we need to do is we need to clear the deck, because I'm about to chop a spring onion.
Kathy, producer Kathy, drop us a question. We will answer that right now.
I'll take this away.
Oh, that's a good question. Can we bake or air fry it?
Yes. Yeah, I reckon you can.
We haven't tried air frying it.
I bet it.
Do you know what? I'm annoyed that we don't have our air fryer in that corner.
Yeah.
Because that is such a good idea, and of course we should have tried to air fry it. Look, let's think about it. Of course you can air fry it. The air fryer is going to be able to do pretty much anything that a frying pan can do. It isn't going to be quite as crispy. And what's also going to happen in the air fryer is you're going to get that bit on the bottom where it's not going to have quite as much crispiness because it's been sat compressing on itself. So you can air fry it.
Yeah.
Baking. Look, baking, I would say yes, but I would say you're going to need to experiment to see what results you get, because I'm not quite sure how the oil is going to interact with that. Yeah, I would go for a shallow fry if you can, or an air fry. If you want to bake, that's your call, but these are our 2 recommended options.
Now guys, we're ready. Look at this, it was so good. Now, so let's check out the batters from the top cam.
Top cam.
So
check.
the top cam batter, look at how nice they look. I mean, they're sort of like glistening, they're beautiful. And if we cut to that cam, I have just cheekily...
Oh, here we are, he's changed the camera. I wasn't even paying attention.
So here we go. Now I'm just gonna slowly but surely get this wonderful tofu onto the rice, like so. Yeah. And pop this like that. It's desperate, like it's so easy, this recipe.
Incredible.
And a lot of people that we've spoken to in like, well, in many different times, people have gone, oh, don't like tofu. Like, well, if you don't like tofu, just try this recipe because it's that good. And now, look, a little bit of sauce over the top.
Oh, nice.
Boom. Oh my God. This is really, really good. You're gonna really enjoy this, no doubt.
Now this, you know, with this new set in, this now feels like a live BOSH video.
Yeah,
finally,
a little bit.
You know what I mean?
It's true
because we can use these little buttons. We can control where the camera is. We've got our BOSH set. Doesn't that look sexy?
It looks like a sexy thing, and it's going to look even sexier when we pop on a little bit of spring onion that I just chopped off camera as well. So there's your spring onion, and then we've got some sesame seeds as well, which is going to just drizzle over here, and that, my friends, is crispy chili tofu.
Wow.
What do you reckon?
I mean, it's beautiful. It's interesting how you've kind of styled it a bit like Lego.
Yeah, I've stacked it.
Or, yeah, you've stacked it.
Look at that. Check this out. Check this out. Is it going to work? Yes, it's going to work. That is...
where are we? There we are.
There we are. That is looking like a beautiful thing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try it for you guys because it would be rude not to, huh? I'm going to get some sauce.
Absolutely. Right, so that is looking beautiful. Let's pop that right in the middle. I mean, if you could see what I can see, we've got like absolutely beautiful, crunchy little cubes, crunchy little sticks of tofu. You've got that sweet glaze surrounding that, and of course you've got spring onions, sesame seeds, all on a bed of rice. Dude, that looks amazing.
Doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
Now we hope that you, if you're making it at home, have found it really easy, because we found it quite easy.
Yeah, super easy. I mean, that was quick.
Yeah.
There was a couple of little jumps there, so you know, Ian jumped through the frying of the tofu and the simmering down, so it might take you about 10 minutes longer than it took us, but we're done in 25 minutes. Might take you 40 minutes if you're quick.
Yeah. Now, one good tip is on Instagram, every time we do this, we probably like log in a couple of hours before and say, right, if you've got a potato and it needs jacketing, put it in the oven now. Or in this instance, it was, if you've got a tofu press, or if you've got your tofu and you're cooking along, now's a good time to press it. So always check into Instagram about a couple of hours. So 4 p.m. we'll be right there telling you exactly what you need to do.
That is an incredible dish. It's spicy, it's got umami, it's salty. Think of all that soy sauce that went in there as well. We've got lemon in there, we've got orange in there, we've got sweet chili sauce. You can taste all of that coating. It's coating that gorgeous tofu, which is crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, all served on a bed of rice. Absolutely wonderful. It's like our take on crispy chili beef.
Exactly, and that used to be one of our favourites back in the day.
Absolutely.
If you've got any questions, now is a very good time to ask them, because these little things are here as is.
Yeah.
Producer Kathy is ready and waiting.
She is, and one thing producer Kathy wants me to remind all of you, if you don't know already, is we've got a super special exciting announcement coming tomorrow. So around the same time, 6 p.m, we're going to be cooking. Well, at the same time, we'll be cooking again. We've got an exciting announcement, which I guess we've never talked about before.
No.
But it's book related.
That's book related.
A sneaky hint we just dropped you there.
Yeah, and if you want to
say any more than that?
Yeah, if you want to cook along with us tomorrow, which we are pretty sure that you will want to, go on to BOSH.tv, have a look at the Tuesday's list of ingredients, and there you will find a good indication as to what we're going to be cooking. It's going to be super tasty, and it may or may not be book related.
Yeah, so even if you're not going to cook with us, do tune in. It's really exciting. We're absolutely thrilled to bits about the excitement. We don't want to give it away. It is book related. We have laboured the point a bit. Yeah. Question, top store cupboard ingredients. That's a question from someone on Facebook or YouTube.
I always like to have, having tofu in your fridge is a really good idea. But also, having some dry pasta is a really good idea. Having some whole wheat noodles is a fantastic idea. Also, having basmati rice that's quick cook, that you can rustle up and base some meal around, is a great idea. And also onions and garlic.
Did you say nooch?
I didn't.
Okay, so I've just lost a bit of food there. Nutritional yeast, absolutely get that in your cupboard if you haven't got that already. It's cheesy, it's going to help you create bechamels, it's going to help you create vegan cheese. You can even sprinkle it on pasta if you like.
Now, honestly, this stuff is so good. Like, we're literally just stood here eating. It is that good.
Kathy, remind me what you just told me. I've forgotten it. Dude, that was amazing, by the way. Doesn't that look incredible?
If you make this, photo, Instagram, you know what to do. It's Kat talking to you.
Someone just asked for producer Kathy's favourite dish. I would probably, should we guess, what is producer Kathy's favourite dish?
Mac and cheese.
You say mac and cheese. I mean,
say mac and cheese.
We did devote a recipe to producer Kathy.
Oh yeah, the Kat's curry flour.
In the most recent book, which was Kat's Korean curry flour. So she loves that one. But I think, what would her favourite dish be?
I reckon it'll be ultimate mac and cheese. I know how wild she goes for it.
She like mac and cheese.
Go on, Kat.
Hold on. I'm going to put my guess in. I'm going to freestyle and say she would like that mac and cheese, but she'd like to add some of the mushroom bacon.
Oh yeah.
Kathy, what are you saying?
Is she gonna say what?
Aubergine katsu.
Oh.
Okay,
fair.
so producer Kathy's favourite dish is aubergine katsu. There you have it. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Genius.
Very good. And any more questions? Any more?
Who would our ideal lockdown guests be to have in this environment?
Well, you kind of want to be locked down with people that you kind of know, because you don't want to like have to awkward. I think
like guests, if we could get them digitally.
Guests digitally.
Yeah. I think that's what the question is.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind.
Because we're not allowed guests.
No, we're not.
The whole point about lockdown is you can't have guests, but there's no guests in the house.
Say if we were going to do like an Instagram Q&A with people, I wouldn't mind appearing on or getting Miley Cyrus involved, because she's like obviously a very vocal spokesperson for veganism in general, as is Lewis Hamilton. I wouldn't mind chatting to him, he's a cool guy. And also Lauren Singer of the Package Free Shop. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'd probably just be a bit boring and go for some familiar faces.
Yeah.
But they're our mates because we miss them.
Okay.
So I would love to hang out a bit more with Derek Sarno. We haven't seen him in ages. The Happy Pair. It would be nice to see them once more. Anna Jones, who came on our TV show. And maybe even Rachel Ammer.
Who's pregnant?
Who's pregnant now, yeah. It's twins, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Isn't it twins?
I don't know.
I'm sure you told me.
I didn't say it's twins, but I know that she's definitely pregnant.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, Rachel.
Congratulations.
Would love to hang out with those people. Maybe if we find some way to get them into this digital scenario, we'll do that. But for now, we're just working on making these lives work.
I'm working on making this tofu disappear, and it is disappearing with every forkful.
We've had another question, which I am absolutely loving. We are going to wrap up, by the way, because that food is. I mean, Ian's nearly eaten all of it.
Sorry, it is dinner time after all. Dinner with Bosch. Bosch
I feel like I should be eating as well.
Yeah.
You just eat all of it. Right, this question that someone's just posted is, what is my favourite jungle track?
Oh my.
Or what is our favourite? I don't know who is the you.
Tarantula.
There you go. That's his. That's Spider, Black Tarantula. The interesting thing, before I give you the answer to that question about the fact that someone had said, what is my favourite jungle track, or ours, is they must know we like jungle.
They might have seen him do
They must see that there's some decks back there. And we are wondering whether or not, after our lives, I mean it's 6:30 now, we've done this, it'll take us 15 minutes to tidy up. We could just go over there and spend an hour on the decks on Twitch, which would just be fun.
Guys, if you
We'd quite like to
know anything about Twitch, and if you'd like to come and join us, we do have an account there, haven't we?
We do. I think so.
I hope so.
Don't go follow us yet, but just type down in the comments below. Would it be interesting if after dinner we played a little bit of music? Maybe it would be that you could listen to while you were cooking. But it would just be fun for us, really. And let us know if that would sound fun. Just type yes or terrible idea, or we'd love to do that, or you idiots.
Also, we do a lot of working out in the morning on this very space as well. We could just turn the camera on and go on Twitch and just like do a live workout, so you could join on if you wanted to.
Absolutely. But my favourite jungle track, to answer your question,
oh, it's a big one. It's a big question.
It would be. It's actually fairly easy because I already know what this is. I think if I ever were to have a funeral, which I will at one point, I would hope this would be played at the end, and it is Horizons by LTJ Bookham.
Boom!
That's LTJ as in, I think it's the Italian way to say DJ. LTJ Bookham, Horizons. It's on YouTube. It's impossible to find on vinyl. You won't find it on MP3, but you'll find it on YouTube. Incredibly beautiful track.
Nice.
I feel like that's got to be the end.
That's got to be the end. Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. This has been BOSH Live. That was our crispy chili tofu. Now has been demolished. You can cook it too. Super quick, super easy.
The full recipe is on bosh.tv. It's also in our first cookbook, BOSH. And tomorrow we have, like Henry said earlier on, a very, very, very special dish that we're cooking for the first time ever. Cook along.
So come see us tomorrow, and do subscribe or like if you haven't already. If you are on YouTube, go hit that little notification bell, then you can get notified when we go live. If you're on Facebook, just give us some comments and we'd love to come and hang out with you. We've also got a group called Team BOSH on Facebook, so we'll see you there. And I guess we'll see you this same time tomorrow.
Nice one, 6 p.m. BST. See you later, guys. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Now I've got to do that weird little bum ba ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba 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 bum bum ba.